for coming, guys. You all Jake? Thanks. Listen, I'm going to start off by addressing the elephant in the room, by which I'm talking about this bad boy. I'd love to get to the stage and stand-up comedy where I could come out here and be like, yo, what's up, motherfuckers, it's Uncle D, and just rip the East. And that's all I have to do to refer to it. But you know, that requires profile I clearly haven't got. I mean, fucking look at the state of this place. And a crowd, Jesus. We had a group of 15 that haven't showed up. Unreal. But I take solace in the fact that they can never get that money back. Wankers. Pulling that shit with me, unbelievable. I've done a few gigs where I've tried not to talk about my arm, and I did one last year, and a girl in the front row whispered to her friend, "Ooh, look at his fingers." She was American, so I whispered for them as kind of like normal human volume for us. It was fucking audible. Went to the doctor recently, not about the arm, obviously. I've known about that for a while. Imagine that though, waking up one day at 31 and going, what the fuck happened? Jesus. That's not how I remembered it. Now, I found this new GP and I wandered in, and it was on a completely unrelated item to the arm. And the first thing he said was, "I see you've got a gammy arm." And he grabbed it by, this is true, and he grabbed it by the wrist and he held it out and inspecting it like it was an exhibit. I guess he's used to people coming in for like a repeat on a prescription or like a rash or something. So when some invalid rolls in, he's thinking, fuck, this is good. But like when one of those big fat stadium security guards finally gets the chance to spare tackle a streaker. It's about better work stories. But because it's visible, you know, I've got to address it. And it's not like keeping it hidden in everyday life is really an option either, because what's the first thing you do when you meet someone new? You thrust out the right hand to shake hands. You know, I did it multiple times tonight before this gig. I suppose I could do the reach around with the left. But that's hardly going to keep it on the D-low, is it? No, I always shake hand with the right hand, and instantly you know the other person knows. It might be like a small flicker of the eye or their general demeanour or whatever, but they pretend they haven't noticed. And I get that. I guess polite society dictates you don't pull away and go, whoa, what the fuck, man? What happened, son? You should have that looked at. The truth is, no one really knows what happened. I had a white trash upbringing in Upper Hutt, but as far as I'm aware, my parents aren't related. It's just a random thing. It's called a congenital birth defect, which, despite the name, has got nothing to do with the genitals. That is, unless you count the oversized penis. I'm kidding, it's average size, but if I hold it with this small hand, it's fucking enormous. With one hand the Lord giveth, and with the other he taketh away. I'm pretty sure that's how it works anyway. With one hand the Lord giveth and the other he taketh away. That'd be a good name for a show. Eventually I want to do a solo show and like the Comedy Fest, not do like a split bill with these other two fucking losers. And I've been thinking about potential titles, and most people go for a pun title, you know. There's Melanie Bracewell, she's a great Auckland comedian. She called her last show Melodrama. Clever, you know, well done. And then there's this gay comedian called Eli Matthewson, and he called his show An Inconvenient Poof. That's good, yeah. Don't laugh, it's his joke, not mine. And I was thinking along those lines, you know, what could I use? Maybe Delta Rough Hand? 3-finger discounts? Yeah. Left leaning? But my personal favourite, although it doesn't really work on any level, is Finger Blasted. You know, people don't really ask me about my arm much anymore. You know, I've got mates and work colleagues I've known for 10 plus years who have never mentioned it at all. And, you know, adults generally have a sneaky look when they think I can't see. Or if you're in regional parts of New Zealand, just openly stare mouth agape. I used to flat with a girl from Mekhail here in Wellington, and she came home excited one day to tell me she'd just seen a dwarf. But you know, I kind of get it, you know, like, if I see a weirdness, you know, even if I see a photo of myself, sometimes I look at a photo of myself and I'm like, oh geez, look at that freak. Because you don't normally see yourself, do you? It's like when you hear yourself in an answering machine message, you're like, fucking listen to this nasally gimp. And I saw a photo of myself recently and I was holding this drink bottle and it just looked bizarre, like my arm was twisted around it like a Jewish sideburn. It just looked unusual. But I gotta be honest, most people are really nice, most people are great, but I have been dissed by a celebrity, believe it or not. That's if you count Mark Sainsbury as a celebrity. True story, about 10 years ago when he was still relevant, we were at a 21st together and during the course of the evening I met him, we had a chat, shook his hand, he was nice, it was fine. And my mate whose 21st it was, he came up to me afterwards and he said, Mark Sainsbury said it was nice to meet the clock. And I was like, the clock? What the fuck does that mean? Apparently old Sano had said, you know, the clock, you know, one big hand, one small hand. And he'd done a little thing with his arms. Good work, Sainsbury. So not only has he dissed me, but he's done it behind my back like a coward. And we're both from Upper Hutt. I thought there'd be some sort of fucking trash code. Obviously not. But to be honest, I don't even think about it anymore. I've pretty much forgotten the entire incident. I don't know why I'm talking about it. But for those of you who don't know who Mark Sainsbury is, and I wouldn't blame you, he used to be a current affairs show host, and he also looks just like the Monopoly Man. But I'm not bitter, I've got over it. He's also fucking fat. And he's got this big alcoholic spongy red nose, the cunt. But as I say, it's water under the bridge, I'm over it completely. But apart from getting dissed by D-grade celebrities, there are actually some real advantages to having a hand like this as well. 10-pin bowling, for instance. Seems to be purpose-made for me. I never have that awful scenario all you bastards have of what the fuck do I do with these extra 2 fingers, you know? I can just slot these bad boys into the 3 holes provided, almost exactly like making love to a woman. I'll let that percolate. You know what else that comes in handy? For getting the last Pringles out of the tube. I never have to unceremoniously tip the fucking thing up and let the shit spill down. I can just plunge this bad boy deep. Basically, the advantages are almost limitless. And then of course there's fisting. What? I used to be a really good runner. Segue. I used to be a really good runner and was at this running meeting in Wellington and there was like this disabled athletics event going on and I met all these amazing people. I met this one dude who was a crayfish diver from the Chatham Islands and he'd lost his lower arm and leg to like a great white shark attack, which pissed me off because that's a story I've been peddling for years. But it was at this meeting that I was approached by a woman from Paralympics New Zealand and she asked me if I'd be interested in competing, which, you know, up until that point hadn't really crossed my mind because you don't sort of think of a dodgy arm or a runner to be much of a disability. But she said it was and that my times would likely mean I qualify. So I was like, yes, sign me up. And she said, first though we need to do this test to see if you're disabled enough. And so I did all these tests and they sent them away to some big cheese in Iran of all places. As if they didn't have enough on their plate. A few weeks later, the results came back and I was thinking, sweet! And I peeled it open, and it said I didn't qualify. Basically what it's saying was I was too able-bodied. Think of that. Sometimes I think it'd be great to have 2 equal-length arms, so when I go for a swim I can go in a straight line, instead of around in a fucking circle. And now suddenly I'm thinking, if only it was less usable, I could have represented New Zealand. You can't fucking win. But she went on to say, Dan, there is some good news associated with this though. With your disability, you would qualify in the swimming, the javelin, or even lawn bowls. Now, as we've already established, I'm not much of a swimmer for some obvious reasons. I've never touched a javelin. That's not a euphemism. And not being an 86-year-old woman from Levin, I'm not really into lawn bowls. And she said the beauty about lawn bowls, Dan, is there's currently no one in New Zealand your classification. So you'd piss in some. Remember, this whole journey started because I was a good runner. But now if I wanted to, I could represent New Zealand in the glamorous blue ribbon event of lawn bowls. Just by virtue of turning up. That's like getting an award for attendance. Fuck, if only 3 countries entered someone, I could be on the podium in a sport I can't even play. So after some deliberation and soul-searching, I decided to turn my back on the great Kiwi dream. Subsequently, I've given up running and taken up boxing, and I go to a boxing gym in Lower Hutt. And recently the trainer asked me if I'd be okay being in some photos for a marketing drive they were doing. He said he'd asked a bunch of other people as well, and he just wanted like a snapshot of regular everyday people. No big buff heroes, no swolgers wearing stringlets, just normal people. And I was like, yeah, oh gee, let's do it. So I turned up, and this was a snapshot of regular everyday people. It was a 70-year-old woman, a guy who weighed 150 kilos, and me. And I thought, this is a pretty diverse range. So we do all these photos, boxing in front of the mirror. Next day, I get this Facebook notification saying I'm tagged in a picture. I clicked on it, and there's this like black and white montage, motivational style piece of shit photo of me boxing with the words, "My disability doesn't define me, I define it," in quotation marks. Normally if something's in quotation marks, it's in your own words. This wasn't. And because I was wearing big boxing gloves and throwing punches, which happens to kind of elongate the arm and shorten the arm, you couldn't even tell that I had a short arm. So the upshot was, it just looked like a normal guy boxing with the words, "My disability doesn't define me, I define it." So clearly someone looking at it is thinking, well, it must be a disability you can't see. He must be special. I was born with one big finger and a thumb, kind of like a crab's pincer. And when I was a baby, they cut this bad boy in half to give me 2. And they took a skin graft from down here. Don't worry, I'm not showing you the aforementioned penis. But that's a pretty common place to get a skin graft from, there in the arse. Now, I probably would have preferred the arse, to be honest, which isn't a line I use very often. But I'll tell you why I would have preferred the arse. Because they did this operation when I was about 18 months old. Now you fast forward 12, 13 years, and these thick black curly hairs start to appear on my fingers. Yeah, I've got finger pubes. If I don't shave these bad boys every couple of weeks, I end up with a 70s style porno bush in my hands. Despite appearances, one of my big passions in life is hip-hop, and in particular hardcore gangster rap. Rappers often talk about, money, clothes and hoes, cars, drive-bys, gats, that kind of thing. And I think I like it because it's so relatable, do you know what I mean? And it's a pretty weird and complex world we live in, and I think at some stage we've probably all come to the realisation that some of our feelings can best be expressed through comedy rap. So I'm going to drop some beats for you tonight, if that's all, G. Yeah. Just before we do that, I've got a few pseudonyms, like Biggie's got Big Popper, he's got Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G., all that shit. I sometimes go by like Uncle D, D-Bone, the Big D, D-Rash, Vitamin D, and occasionally Cell Block D. Fuck, it's hard to see in this shit. I'm just gonna put some beats down on the looper and then we'll hit it out.
Yeah, what, yeah, bitches, pussy, what, yeah. This is an Uncle D-Bone production in association with Finger Blasted Records. Yeah, this one goes out to all my OGs, all my N-words, doing time at the Rimatucker Correctional Facility, and to my baby girl, the Squeesha, doing time at Arohata Women's Prison. This song, this rap, it's called Differently Abled Rapper. Yeah. Yeah, who you call disabled, bitch? I don't like being labeled. Yeah, I'm missing a few digits, but at least I ain't a midget. And even if I was, you would still look up to me, cause the best shit comes in threes. The only digits I need are the one in your home's phone. Honeys, give me a call for a slice of the debone. Okay, I'm digitally challenged and a little unbalanced, but I have many talents like putting my hand in tight spaces. And I don't mean someone's anus. My head is full of rap, so I rock some comedy rap. Yo, differently able rapper. What? Mess with me and I slap ya. Yeah, I fucking slap you real good, bitch. 3-fingered gangster. Why diss me and I shank ya? Shank ya. Yo, people being judgmental, calling me names like T-Rex and I'm mental. You diss my ability, yo, I question your virility. Don't be throwing those blanks at me, I ain't looking for sympathy just cause of my asymmetry. Eminem ain't got shit on me, Jay-Z wishes he flows like this, even Scribe can't roll like this. Sometimes I get frustrated, 10 fingers are overrated. Who you be calling whack? I'm the fucking whack to pack. More talent in my middle finger, the more you hear, the more you linger. The delivery and the man beats faster than Subway or Uber Eats, yo. Differently able rapper, join in if you can. What? Mess with me and I slap you. Yeah, I fucking slap you real good. 3-fingered gangster. Yeah, why diss me and I shank ya? Shank ya. Yo, people ask me questions like, can you drive a manual? Yeah, better than you. Can you turn a handle? Yeah, better than you. Can you walk a spaniel? Yeah, better than you. Yo, D, can you ride a bike? I do wheelies on my trike. Can you pick shit up? Yeah, and I rip shit up. Do you use disabled parks? I want the best spot like Rosa. Is it hard finding gloves? Now they custom made for a thug. Can you use a knife and fork? What the fuck do you think, dog? Do your fingers grow pubic hair? Actually, yeah, you got me there. What? Differently able rapper. Yeah. One last time now. Yeah. Mess with me and I slap you. I fucking slap you real good. 3-fingered gangster. Yeah, bring it back, bitch. Diss me and I shank ya. Shank ya. Thank you, guys.